because they do things that fast at that studio. So yeah, if you want to make a go at it, go for it.
Okay,
Go for it.
thank you.
One of the
Okay.
things that you have an advantage of is that you're not doing an animatic, you're not doing sound, you're not doing voices, you're just doing the initial board. So yeah, if you want to, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, maybe like I think today I might need to rewrite the script or something.
Sure.
That kind of means that don't have anything to show.
So you want me to do final grades right now? Okay.
Oh no.
I'm just teasing.
No. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Brooke, is your next story about aliens?
No, but drawing those aliens versus drawing people really made me rethink having stories about people.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yep.
I was drawing the aliens. I was like, hey, I could animate.
Yes, you can.
And then I start drawing a person and I'm like, I can't even draw a still of a person. It's terrible.
Someone in my academy class made some comment, oh, I'm really horrible at drawing trees. And I'm like, dude, you draw a gesture for the trunk and then you just go like this for the leaves. And she was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, watch. And I was on Zoom and I had my pen. Actually, I think what I was doing was like we had done last week with me drawing right on top of Zoom.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, you just grab your pencil and you draw the trunk for the tree. You know, you give it a little swing if you want, and then you just draw the clump of leaves. You want another, you know, what kind of tree are you drawing?
Yeah.
It's not that hard. And it's just because she hasn't drawn a tree yet.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of the reasons why, like, let's say that this is the shot right here, that you knew that your camera was right here and that you had two people sitting on a park bench. So person A, person B, and there's just a really wonderful tree right here.
Yeah.
And then there's like a little trash can. There's a little walkway. It's just a beautiful day, right? Not like the sucky day we had today. You know, and then this is your background. So this is your foreground, this is your midground, and this is your background back here. And so you can have mountains back here, whatever you want. So you just draw what the camera sees. So you draw that little walkway. You remember, and you're just thumbnailing it.
Yeah.
And then you just draw a box for that little park bench. Put it in perspective. Draw the people sitting on the park bench. Perspective. And then the tree. So where is the trunk? You know, so these guys are on the focal point, right? And so the tree can be just a little bit left of it. And trunks for trees are just usually straight sometimes. You give it a swing back up here if you want, and then just draw the tree. You know, don't worry about your going outside. You know, I hate it when people do that. That just drives me nuts. So they draw that little piece of broccoli for a tree. No, I'll send you back to the 3rd grade. You know, and your horizon, where is your horizon? And then there's a waste paper basket, and then there's another tree over there. And so in perspective, you know, that tree is more like that.
Yeah.
Or you could even be a different kind of tree. You know, this one could be like a cypress. Cypress trees are like that. And usually cypress trees come in sets. So if you want to draw a cypress, and you're right, I just wanted to say cypress. You know, and then there's a hedge. And then all of a sudden, this looks like a thumbnail. Oh my God.
Yeah, I can do backgrounds for days.
Yeah.
I love perspective. I can do indoors, I can do outdoors, I can do cityscapes, I can do landscapes. It's just people.
Well, it's the same thing. You just got to do the line of action.
Yeah. I'm getting better. I'm in a life drawing class right now. So that helps.
Who's your teacher?
Professor Morales. It's like,
it's really kind of funky. I'm backing out of this, but it's not letting me. All right. So one thing that I wanted to do here, there was one more thing I wanted to share with you. And that was just I added a couple of things to the storyboard board, storyboard 8. And that was just this incredible drawing here from The Wind Rises, Studio Ghibli. And when they do boards, they do boards. So, you know, you are not going to do boards like this for me, even for the final. You know, these production boards are just crazy. But, you know, look, you know, scene, shot, time, there's your slug. There's your slug right there. Look, I put some rabbits in there for you. And I don't know, it just kind of came to me, I think Andrew might have asked about script writing, and I just put this example up in here. You know, and it was kind of a little dialogue heavy, but it was just kind of a nice thing to think about just in terms of story. And then script writing started trending for me, obviously, on Pinterest. And by the way, I don't care if that's not how you say it, because I think it's Pinteresting. And it drives my daughter crazy, so that means I just have to keep doing it. But I liked this, you know, write a scene, 11 steps. And I like to say, write a scribble version. I always like that. And then I think I started this mania just by looking at a couple of thumbnails for The Incredibles, where the horizon is above the picture plane, and then it's in the middle of the picture plane, and then it's down on the picture plane, and then it's completely underneath the picture plane. You know, this is a wonderful example of shot sequencing to show dynamics. And it's just really simple, but there's a lot of stuff going on in here. All right, so this is on the board, the Pinterest board, and I just wanted to share that with you. All right, so back to here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen with you again. And instead of going alphabetically, we're just going to go random order today. Those were directions for my story class, for my game class. All right, so this is Project 3, Part 2, and not everyone is here. So I'll just going to go random. And this one comes up first. So Yolanda, you're first. Are you here today?
Yes, I am
So
here.
you're here. All right, so scene, shot. Okay, so, okay, good. I'm just looking at the slugs. Oh boy, these are really detailed. Okay, so this is just the first part.
Yeah, this is like the first half. It's like 20 panels, and then my next one is going to be 20 panels as well.
Okay, this looks really good. The only thing I can tell you is make sure that these are 16 by 9. They look a little squished.
Oh yeah, I did the 4 by like 2.5, I think it was.
That sounds right. Let me check my math.
It's just the angle of the photo is like slanted a
Yeah,
little.
it's possible. Yeah, it's 16 by 9, 8 by 4.5, 4 by 2.25, right?
Yeah, sounds right.
These panels look a little tall. Just make sure that they're 4 by 2.25. And if you have to, go into these and draw a little line on it so that it's precise. Or make them a little wider if you need to.
All right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Let me show you what I mean. If you're measuring them and you find that they're a little funky, and by funky I mean completely out of control, then like on this one, then just add a little bit to every single panel. My intuition is that you're probably going to need to do this. See what I'm doing?
Yes.
Because they need to be 4 by 2.25 inches, or whatever the 16 by 9 ratio is. And you know what? And why can't I see my colors from my annotation anymore? It's just bumming me out. All right. Thank you, Yola.
Thank you.
How's your history of games class going?
Um,
I haven't
pretty
checked
good.
you yet.
Yeah.
It's
For
okay.
check me for what? Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, it is. And I just made the announcement for your project 2 today. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. It's gonna be a
It should be
little bit,
fun.
yeah,
Should be fun. All
more
right, we're going to just
challenging.
go in order. I changed my mind. Jesse B? Jesse
Yeah,
B?
I'm here.
Okay. This is background, entropy, maps. Good. All right, this looks like what you had last week.
Yeah, that's right. And there's some more that I've added, just a few more. And
Okay.
then the next here, and this is where I was taking your advice on how to lay them out in fours,
Right,
you know, sort of in a quadrangle.
right.
And then I wanted to do something with the two women, although that like my illustrations, these women are awful. But that pan, what I was kind of trying to imagine is being in the center and pivoting and showing sort of three sides. And so I wondered how I might do the background to indicate that it's kind of three different angles.
Well, you don't need to. This is position A.
Yeah.
There's my color. So then your camera moves over to position B, right?
Mhm.
So it starts here, and
Yeah.
then it goes to position B, and then it goes back to position C in the middle again, and then it continues out to position D. Now, is this fast?
Okay.
Does it go A, B, C, D fast?
No, not super fast. Just like a rotation while they're in real speed, kind of goofing off.
Right. So, I mean, you could just go B, C, D or A, B, D, right? But if you
Mhm.
start in the middle and then you go to B and then this antic happens here with her hand coming up, you know, that
Mhm.
happens while B is in play. And then you pan over to C and then end on D. It's just a camera move. The way you've got this set, you've got close-ups for each one of these. And so you don't need too much stuff in the background. You know,
Okay.
you have a picture and some stuff over here,
Mhm.
but if your camera is pointed this way, then you would just indicate maybe a painting on the wall or a window or something. And then that
Mhm.
window would just be here. So I don't think you need to worry
Yeah.
about it more than just
Okay.
planning the shot out.
I've been struggling with time on this, and a lot of it has been spent trying to use Harmony. And
Yes.
it's a great tool, but I don't know it. So I feel like I'm burning through a lot of my time for this class, like trying to learn a new tool that's
So in order
kind of
to
hard.
just,
So
in order to maybe jumpstart you a little bit,
yeah,
we have a, you know, if you make a new file, it comes in at 1920 by 1080. That's
yeah,
just right out of the box, and you hit just file new, and it's
yeah.
going to come up that way. The very first thing that you always need to do is put a color card, or you won't get anything to render ever, ever, ever. So you
Oh,
do that by hitting this little plus sign and just say
which,
add
sorry,
color
I need
card.
to zoom out to see. Sorry. Where are you?
I'm over here in the
Oh, okay.
timeline.
Yeah,
And so you
got
hit
it.
this little white cross and you hit color
Mm-hmm.
card. And when you do that, you'll get a
Okay.
color card. Now, I could put another one in here. If you have like the drawing layer selected and you hit color card, it'll end up becoming embedded in this, and that's not what you want. You want it to be
Okay.
open and
Yeah.
free and not embedded in any way. So then you get your stage. This is straight out of the box. This right here is your action safe area and your center focal point, that little button right there.
Okay.
And then this just shows you your stage, just like that.
Okay. Awesome.
This
Yeah.
is a little render flower. This shows you your render view. And if you accidentally click this, nothing will animate. This little flower. So
Yeah.
and you can't unclick it. You just have to click the white flower. Other than that, one of the more difficult things in Toon Boom are the keyboard shortcuts. And these are your tools over here, but there's a ton of other tools. And they are found in File. They're found in Harmony Preferences. And they have so many keyboard shortcuts. It's like,
okay. Yeah, I saw there was a whole separate thing for keyboard shortcuts. Yeah.
It's just crazy. It's
Can I ask you this?
They have.
So if I have, like 8 panels on a sheet of, 8.5 by 11 paper, and I have that scanned, what's the best strategy to bring that into
Photoshop?
to Harmony?
Just do it in Photoshop.
Well, but I mean, but I mean to, like, center an 9 by 16 frame on one of those panels.
You could just hit File, Import, and then you just click Images. And I'll just go find an image I have on my desktop somewhere. Let me see.
Well, so if I have, all of them on, I wasn't able to find any kind of cropping tool.
No, no.
Right.
It's not.
So I need to.
So let me just.
So I need to separate that one page into 8 different photos.
Right. Let me find something that works here.
Okay. Cool. This is helpful to me. Thanks.
Sure.
I know everyone's not using this tool, so
that's okay.
Thanks for the time to do this.
It's funny, I hardly ever look at my desktop with just the words. So, oh, here we go. All right, so I already have this set up as regular boards, I think. So I'm gonna see if I can find, oh, good, this one's perfect. So I just found so what it does is it says bring it in as a single layer and just and the transparency leave as pre-multiplied with white and say okay. And so what that did is it just brought the image in down here, but you can't see it because I'm drawing over it, I believe. So let me. Yeah, I haven't done this very often. Just hold on one second. I've forgotten how to do this. I'm sorry. Oh, wait.
All right. Well, I think I know now that I just need to slice my page scans into individual files
Yeah, you can
that
do
I
that too,
can.
but there's something that's
Is-
bugging me about this import process. Import images. Yeah, something is hiccuping in my head. I can't get around this.
And maybe you can just like, I see camera and drawing are different.
Yeah, there's two different modes, and one, the camera, you can put pegs on it, and you can move things around. And the camera gives you a camera guide, but in the drawing mode, it doesn't give you anything where the
Mhm.
stage is. So I don't
It's just
usually.
like an open canvas.
Yeah, I don't usually use that. I just
Okay.
usually use the camera mode, and it's kind of backwards.
Okay.
But it
I
is
think I
there. I
get
don't
it.
know why I can't see it. Let me do this. Let me get through the critique, and then I will, if you want, I can re-investigate this and come back to it
Okay.
for you.
That'd be great. Thanks, Billy.
Yeah. All right. So continuing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think your lines are looking a little scratchy. Try to draw more fluidly. Something is kind of grotesque about this woman. Do you want her to be really nasty looking, or would you
Kind of,
prefer
but
her to be?
no, but you're right.
Or would you prefer her to be, have a face that's a little bit more feminine? So draw the line of action for her face. Put her eye in there. There's always like an indent for the eye. And then practice doing those 3/4 views. Put the ear in there. And keep going. I don't think you need these big words here.
Yeah.
I think you just need to annotate it correctly. You just need to write shot number, panel number, and then the duration. You have to slug this better.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Jesse.
Thanks.
Okay, Andrew. Stop presenting drawings sideways.
Yeah, sorry, I just got this uploaded during the break.
All right, so there's your broccoli trees again. Stop doing that.
I'm sorry.
Because I think this is falling into that habit that I spoke of on the first day of class, when I was talking about being bummed out about just broccoli or drawing right within the frame. Don't do this. Just draw the trunk of the tree, and then kind of think about how it's made, and then that's a big tree. That's a big trunk. So you're missing all of this. And if there's an adjacent tree over here, are you Wes Anderson? Do you really want to make this symmetrical? Then these trees are going to have to be really big. Now, what are these? These are people. These are your butthead people. So remember, you've got action save and title save. So it might behoove you to think of your focal points, right?
No.
And then put these guys a little smaller and here so that we can see their shoulders, and then copy that for this panel too.
All right.
Okay, so what's going to help you here is getting your sense of perspective correct. So if your horizon is here, pick a vanishing point and then just go with it. So, and then copy that for each one of your stories. It looks like you're doing it,
Yeah, I tried to.
but while you've got that going, and figure out where the edge of the house might be, and then put some other stuff on this focal point. You know, whether it's a tree back there or something, because you've got the foreground and midground, but you don't have the background in there. And you should always draw the background first. It always helps in your composition to draw the background first. Okay. So what might help you here is using that little idea that I spoke of 3 weeks ago or so. And that was using a piece of cardboard as a template, right? You just get a piece of cardboard and you cut out, if you know that all your story panel frames are going to be that size, then just cut this out of a nice piece of cardboard so that you don't have to redraw this.
Oh no, I have a little paper thing.
Oh, you have that. Okay. You have that, but where do you have the little, the thing where it came from? Like this is the cardboard here.
Oh no, I
with a
don't.
hole in it. Because this is faster. Having the little piece of paper is okay, but this you can just do in like 1 second. Zoop, zoop, zoop. And then it's also nice if you have, even on the same paper, that you have like a thumbnail version out of that same cardboard, so that if you need to, you can come down here, you know, and do a thumbnail study. Do you want this to be on the focal point, or do you want the hand to be on the right? And you can do like a little gesture here for studying how you want that to look. All right, and remember that I need this slugged.
Oh yeah, I actually haven't gotten there yet. I
Well,
wasn't thinking you wanted
easier.
anything submitted by tonight.
It's easier if you do it as you go along. So
Oh.
this is panel 09. You know, and just panel, you don't have to put panel and then put SH, whatever it is, shot 5, right? And then what I'll do, I don't see an example here. Well, let's say that these guys are walking and so they're going that way, right? And so they're gonna go into this little door area here. And so this would be panel 10, this would be panel 11, this is shot 6, and then this is shot 6 as well, because they go that way. What I do is I circle the first shot, and then anytime there's another version of shot 6, I just leave that open. So every time I have, this would be panel A, panel B, and then down here would be panel C from the same shot. And that's just part of the whole slugging thing. You don't need the sequence or the scene unless you want it. And then you should really have an idea of how long you want this shot to last for. So this would be 2 seconds. And then down here, this would be 1.5 seconds. And as they walk here, this would be 2.5 seconds. And then this gives you the idea that no two panels or a combination of panels that make a shot should ever have the same duration of time right next to each other, because you'll end up railroading your film. It'll look like cut, 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 and you don't want that. You want a variety and timing for your cuts.
All right.
So keep going, and hopefully those things will just make it faster for production for you. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. Thank you.
Fernando.
Hey.
A question, does this part of the class need to be recorded?
I am recording it.
Okay.
All right, Fernando. Title card. Are you there, Fernando?
No, sorry, my connection just cut out a bit.
So yeah, you need a title card.
Okay.
So make sure you give yourself a title. These are panel numbers, but you really should have shot on here. Shot 1.
Okay.
The drawings look great. Keep going, and then because this looks like there's still thumbs, that you're not giving yourself any room down here for slugs. Is this supposed to be 8 seconds? Right?
Uh-huh.
And then you're not giving yourself any place where you can do a wider background and you can do a camera move on that wider background. So because you're staying panel by panel by panel by panel by panel, and you're just drawing it, and that's okay, but you're not giving yourself a chance to explore like a larger background where the sky is in perspective, and you could do a camera starting in this position here and then going to a different position here, so it'd be position A, and then doing a camera move into position B. And because you're locking your panels down like this, you're not giving yourself a chance to explore the camera.
Okay.
I mean, it looks good. Keep going, but with my suggestions right there will make it better.
Okay.
Thank you, Fernando.
All right. Thank you.
Marquise, you still have to get caught up. Marquise, I know you're there. So I just noticed from the grade book that you have some things missing. Okay? You're not responding to me. You're hurting my feeling. All right, so I'm going to guess that you are there. And let me just look at this. There's a couple of things that are catching my eye. So a couple of things that are just catching my eye is that I think that drawing on notebook paper it's okay for thumbs. And it's kind of okay, I mean, if that's the only thing that you had for production boards. But what it's telling me is that this is 8.5 by 11. So this is 11 inches here. Your production boards, like we just talked about, should really be 4 by 2.25. And so your production board should be like this big. These are, that's the general size of a production board. So, indulge yourself, get some regular paper and draw this out on just some regular printer paper. In my day, we called it typing paper. All right, and so you've got your panel numbers, but you need your shot numbers. This is shot 2. And I think that what you've got happening here is that you've got a character that's standing on the ground plane. And if I imagine a sense of perspective here, that looks okay, but I think you need to draw that. If I see that he is standing right there, right here, and the door is right there, that means the camera's right on the ground. And so what I would suggest is pulling the door up and making this like a regular proportional door rather than more square. And then exploring the idea of hold on one second. There's Marquise, the very person we should be talking to. All right, Marquise, I was just going over your piece. And I realized that you may not be able to hear me yet. So, and I erased a couple of things. So let me do that again for you.
Yeah, I'm here now. My Wi-Fi cut out.
All right, so I was just saying that you've got this scene number here, which is okay, but you need shot numbers. You know, this is shot 2, but this is too small. You know, all of these, if this is 8.5 by 11, you've given yourself lines that interrupt your composition just from the notebook paper, just straight out the gate. So I wouldn't recommend that. Just get regular typing paper. And your regular production boards should be at least 4 by 2.25. These are still thumbnail size.
So make them bigger?
Yeah, you need to do this 4 by 2.25 at least. And you're not giving yourself any space where you could draw like a bigger background and develop a sense of perspective and use the composition. You got the room going, you've got a window, you've got a ceiling fan, you've got a couch over here. So you've got this composition for a background, right? And then on top of that, you can put a camera move that goes from this position to this position and say that this is camera A, and then this is camera position B. And what you're doing here is you're still drawing thumbs and you are locking yourself into this little tiny composition here. And so draw more free form and use a sense of perspective and a vanishing point for every shot. Because right now you're still just drawing thumbs.
Okay.
Yeah, the notebook paper is getting you into trouble. It's affecting your ability to see the perspective correctly, and it's affecting your ability at composition as well. Perspective, composition. So if you can, try to just put this on a light table or something and draw it at 4 by 2.25.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, and Marquise, you have things that are missing. Make sure make sure you put those up online because I graded it, and I noticed a couple of things were missing.
Okay, I'll get those in.
All right, where are we? We're on Hannah Joy. All right, Hannah Joy, did you make these storyboard panels yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. They look okay. Title card, background, arrows, scene. This should be shot though. Don't use scenes. It's a strange thing because in live action, it goes sequence, scenes, shots. And when the animators started working right alongside the film people, they're like, oh yeah, we like this scene. This is a good scene. And they used scene for everything. So in animation, they have sequence and scenes. It's like there's no shots where there really should be shots. And I'm single-handedly trying to change that. Even in Toon Boom, you know, you look at Toon Boom and it'll say file and you'll say new and it'll say scene right there. It's wrong. Like it should not say scene, it should say shot.
Yeah, I put shots inside the square and scenes on the outside because I don't know.
Okay,
where to
that's
put
fine.
them. Yeah.
But it's still S. Oh, so S means shot for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I probably should just
No,
put
no, that's fine.
SH.
No, that's fine. As long as that's your shortcut, that's fine. Okay, so this looks good. The drawings are fabulous. Are you sure you haven't worked at like Warner Brothers before or something?
I wish.
Those are big mosquitoes.
Yeah, I kind of want to emphasize the size.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, careful with Jumanji.
Oh, copyright.
No, I'm just teasing you. You know, one of the things that you have here is you have some pretty detailed descriptions of actions, which is fine, and it's reading with your boards too, so that's really good. Yeah, this is great. You're making the rest of your class very upset.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So remember to one thing that you didn't do here
Hmm.
is
Timing?
yeah, your
Yeah, I don't have any concept of how to time these things out, and I know when
I'm
I do
just
any.
asking you to think about it.
Okay.
You know, that's why we were looking at those films when we started today, because establishing shots. So you have establishing shot right here. This can be 10 seconds.
Mhm.
You know, and if you are panning down and then zooming in, and I'm sorry for drawing over your drawing. I just ruined your drawing. This whole sequence here can be 10 seconds.
Mhm.
And remember that when you do that, I'm sorry, I didn't draw that line. That your action and intensity, this is, I'm sorry, I just drew that wrong. This is time and intensity, that your
Mhm.
establishing shots can be really long. There's not a lot of action happening here. And then all of a sudden these guys come in here, so there's a little rising action, right? And as soon as they start swatting at the mosquitoes, those shots are faster, but this is your establishing shot here. And so if your whole thing is 30 seconds, this establishing shot can be 10. It depends on
Yeah.
your story. If you find
Yeah.
that this is going into 40 or 50 seconds, that's okay. You use 10 or 12 seconds for your establishing shot. And usually you put the slug right here.
Mhm.
So in
Okay.
your work for putting these lines in here, you haven't given yourself a really good room to put the slug in there. And you really should put, you know, this is just like panel 1, panel 2, panel 3. That's fine. This is shot 1. Let me just think for a second. Shot 1. And see, this is another thing, if you wanted to be really in industry standard, was that I wouldn't include these little squares on your template, because then you can circle shot 1 and then leave this open. That indicates to everyone that shot 1 is continuing.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and what that does is it allows you to just say, this is shot 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel
Yeah.
4.
Because I wasn't sure if I had to keep writing it in there or if it would.
No, you just indicate it by that. And you can use your own shortcut too, but for me, this is the easiest way. That was the way I was taught. And then you can put like down here in the middle that this is position A, and a circle that usually indicates the position for a pan. So even though you've got panel 1, panel 2, and panel 3, which all comprise this shot right here, right?
Mhm.
And it looks like you copy and pasted it, so that's nice. But what that means is that this is position A.
Mhm.
And then in order to, if you didn't want to put that indication here, you could put it off to the right. You've already written this little thing here, so you could write position A, and then this is position B, and then you could just write C right in the middle here. And then everyone
Okay.
will know you're starting 3 panels, panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, to get to panel, this is still panel 3, right? And this is still panel 3, but you've got a camera move that's going on there. And then this is your title card. So, I see. And so you're zooming in here even more. Okay, so
Yeah.
that looks like, it looks
So
like
I
you
think I
crossed
need
it
to.
out. All right, so that would
Oh,
be fine. So this is
That's
C.
like a zoom. It's a pretty
So
fast.
this
Yeah.
is position C, and then you have position D. So that's
Okay.
position D right there. And this is panel 5, and you can just make that note, like over here, this is position D. And really, literally, this is your whole background. So you go like that. You can just put that little indication right there. But try to limit this area right here, and even this area in the middle, so that you can put that slug in there more carefully. And again, your boards are fabulous. This is all good, but this indication right here. So you've said wind is coming through the tree, and you could get your iPhone out and time it. Wind is coming through the trees, pan down, pan up, title card, zoom in further, mosquitoes, click. That could easily be 12 seconds. And so that's an important step in your production value.
Okay.
Yeah, this stuff is all great. And this is fine too if you wanted to just shot 4, and then anything that doesn't have the indication here, then that's a continuation of shot 4. One thing that you may want to consider, come on, zoom. There we go. One thing that you may want to consider is, this is page 2. This is page 3. Because let's say that you have, and this is all good, but let's say that you wanted a new panel right here, right? And so if you wanted to, you'd have to use a new piece of paper, and then you'd have to say, this is not page 3 anymore. This is page 4, and page 3 has, and see, now I can't see it, because see, that's the problem here, is that I have to go backwards.
Yeah.
This is S3. This is S3.
Yeah, I had that trouble too. I had to keep
So
reading.
this would be
and-
S3, panel 13, B. And in reality, if you had like a Storyboard Pro, everything gets renamed. As soon as you insert a shot here, then all of these get renamed automatically. But if you're doing it by hand, and you make an indication right there, is insert shot for 13B, because maybe you wanted him to fold the map up or something. And so you put little indication arrows like that. I don't know, just, but what that's what this continuity is for. That gives you the idea that, oh, we're inserting a shot here, and you have page numbers. And what I will often do is, instead of erasing page 3, I'll just cross it out very carefully, so that I remember, oh, it used to be page 3. Now page 3 is just this. Page 3 is just this all by itself. It's an insert shot, right?
Yeah, because I have a feeling I might need to insert. I don't know. We'll see. I don't. And I was like, I don't want to move all the frames along just to fit an extra one in.
Okay, these are great. Hopefully you haven't spent 40 hours on this week. Hopefully you're drawing quickly. Yeah. Well, the other thing I'm going to tell you is to actually do an animatic out of this. And I showed you a little bit how to do that in After Effects. Did I do that last week?
Yeah, I think so.
It's on one of the recordings. Put this on your website, put this in your portfolio. But in order to make sure it's actually working, which I think it will be fine, dropping it into an animatic is going to tell you for sure. And then that's where your slug is going to come in really handy. So having said that, this shot right here where he's like, oh, right. Because what's this guy's name?
Hun.
His name is
Like
Hana?
No, just H-U-N. Like Hun.
Just H-U-N. Hun. So he was over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go from position 3 to position 4, and then he's already reacting in this shot. You probably should start out with a shot of him kind of being neutral first. And then you can do that animated thing. You have to look at me in the monitor over here. Then you can do that. Whoa! You could go from neutral to squash to stretch. And so in your production, you would find that in, what?
17 pans to the frame, which would probably be 17A, a B, or something like that. So I've got 1, 2,
right.
There's a 3, and then you go back to his face.
Exactly.
Then you go to 18.
Right.
Yeah.
But you would know that immediately as soon as you're dropping it into an animatic. And remember too that if you're cross dissolving into black, you don't need this.
Okay.
Right? You don't need to write time passes unless you really want to. Right? We just saw Into the Spider-Verse, and they do all kinds of funky things like that. So yeah, you fade to black, and then you could write time passes just to be cheeky, right? Right? You could do that. All right. So how far along are you? How many more panels do you still
I'm
have?
probably halfway.
Halfway.
Including this one that hasn't been finished at the end there.
Okay, it looks really great. Thank you, Hannah Joy.
Yeah.
Brooke.
Oh boy, I have to follow that act.
Yeah, sorry.
Maybe I should just go
Okay,
first.
this is great. I have some good comments for you.
Awesome. Got my sketchbook ready.
All right. So it looks like you might have grabbed this storyboard panel template from the flyinganimator.com.
It's from
or somewhere online. And you can't go wrong with that, except that it's not allowing you to do any kind of pans or anything. Like for instance, this thing that she's pulling on right here goes up here, right?
Yes.
And so it's perfectly legitimate to do a cut here, but you could, if you wanted to, plan this out so that it was a pan rather than just a cut. All right, so you've got scene. See this right here? This is the problem, is that it should not say scene. You've got scene one. Everything you're doing should be scene 1.
Yeah, they are all scene 1.
So in order to save time, you can just take this into Photoshop and fix this. Fix the template. Because this should be panel number 001, 002, 003. It's cutting into your ability to indicate your panels. Shot 2, shot 2, shot 3. So that's right. All right, and then here's the issue. You've got your title card for 72 frames, which is 3 seconds. And then this is 3 seconds. And then this is 48 and 48. These are too long. This is 2 seconds here. This is 2 seconds. what a lot of times what I'll do, and hopefully everyone is paying attention, is that I'll make a little template, and I'll do that for everyone right now. And you are required to write this down. So everyone get a piece of paper and something to write with, including you, Hannah Joy. Right? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little template. And the template goes like this. In animation, we start with frame 1. And we go from frame 1 to frame 8. This is 1/3 of a second. And then from frame 8 to frame 16 is 2/3 of a second. And then from 16 to 24 is 1 second. That's 1 full second. So then on top of this, somewhere right about here is frame 12. And that is 1/2 a second. So this belongs to this. This belongs to this. So 12 frames is 1/2 a second. And that means somewhere in here, 6 frames is 1/4 of a second. And then somewhere in here is frame 18, which is 3/4 of a second. Everyone following along? This is 1 second of animation. And when you're cutting, you're going to need to know 1, 1/3, 1/4, how far of a second. And these are really good mathematical, numerical equivalents of saying 8 frames is 1/3 of a second. 16 frames is 2/3 of a second. It's good to know when you're doing fast cutting about, and you don't want any 2 panels next to each other that are the same. If this is 1/2 a second and 1/2 a second and 1/2 a second, this is railroading. All right, so let's continue here. Let's make this equal distance. This is 48 frames. So this is 2 seconds. And so 36 frames is going to be 1.5 seconds. And you can see the difference between 24 and 36 frames for sure, absolutely for sure. And so actually, let me back this up just a little bit because I'm going to put the 1/2 equivalent out here. So 36 frames is 1.5 seconds. So if I'm on 8 frame beats, these are called beats. You have 3 beats per second. So that means frame 32 is 1.3 seconds. And then add, so frame 40 is 1.2 seconds. And then come over here to the, so this is thirds. And then this is quarters. Okay, so then frame 30 is 1.25 seconds. Did I do that right? Yeah, I did that right. And then 1/2 is here, that's 36 frames. And then 42, frame 42 is 1.75 seconds. And you can see the difference between any of these differences here. So now I'm going to squish this down a little bit because once you get past 2 seconds, and I'll put a little black dot here, especially when you're doing boards and animatics, you can kind of not have this much detail. You might want 2.5 seconds, so 2.5 seconds out here, add 12, this is 50 frames. If something doesn't look right, 12, we have 50 frames, and then 3 seconds is 72 frames. So, and I put square, so that's 70, that's 3 seconds. And then out here, I'm supposed to do one more, and that's 96 is 4 seconds. So this is a really good little template to use. The difference between 2 and 2.5 seconds is very visible, and it takes a kind of a trained eye to get in here. Did I do this wrong? This is 60 frames. It takes a trained eye to see the difference between 48 and 56 frames. I did something wrong here. No, that's right. it takes a little bit of a trained eye to see the difference, especially in an animatic, between 2 and 2 1/3 seconds. You can see the difference between 2 and 2.5 for sure. But after you get, you're not going to have to have too much detail in timing between 3 and 3.5 or 3 1/4. That's not necessary. But this stuff right here, this is really important just in terms of timing. And the more you understand this, the better your animation will be. The more that you can plan your shots out in terms of beats. And some animators like working on 8-frame beats. And this is standard. If someone says a beat, that means 8 frames. But some animators like working on 4s and 12s and 18s. They like working over here. This is more cartoony. It's easier to draw, it's faster. And this actually is more live action. And it's not anyone's design. It's just that's just kind of the way it ended up being. That live action kind of falls on thirds a little bit more easily, and cartoon animation, which especially really zippy cartoon animation, usually falls on 4s and 12s and 18s, that kind of thing. All right, did everyone draw that? And you have this on your recording so that you can always go back to it. All right, I'm sorry, I distracted myself. So what is she doing? Is this like a pen?
That's the door handle.
That's the, oh, it's a door handle. Could you draw that better?
Yep.
Because it looks like it's swinging to the right. And it looks, I don't know what it looks like.
Okay.
Is she closing the door or open it? She's opening the door.
She opened it and then she closes it again.
Okay. Okay, keep going. Try working more gesturally.
Okay.
You don't have to always work with clean lines like this.
Okay.
Your size is correct. The scale of the board panels is fine, doing 3. But a helpful note for you might be is just to, you set up this shot, perspective. So your horizon is actually out here.
Mm-hmm.
And your vanishing point for the desk is going to be here. I'm sorry, I just gave her a drawing desk instead of a regular desk. Let me zero out of this. I don't know what I was thinking.
Gotten too used to
All
drawing
right.
desks.
All right, so she's at a regular table now.
Mm-hmm.
And your gesture would be head, line of action. Get that body in there. Get her shoulders. Get this elbow down. That's fine. Put her arm over here. Get the other elbow and then up on her. So draw more gesturally because yours is like straight. Yes. It's just a little too straight. You try to work more gesturally. Gesturally.
Efforts will be made.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Timmy.
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you? Good.
8.8. All right. Something's telling me you're still working in thumbnail form here, Timmy.
Is this still thumbnail form?
No, you should be progress to your final boards.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're clean enough. You could probably scale them up. But if this is 8.5 by 11, you should have 4 per page.
Okay.
Brooke, could you just go, yeah, like those mean girls from Lilo and Stitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so you're in outer space here.
Yep.
So this is scene 1, this is scene 2. Okay. It looks so good. So this is a nice example of lots of poses per shot. And I like that. It definitely helps you. If anyone is listening still to Billy's nasally little voice, is anyone still listening? I
Yes.
will give you a
Yes.
nugget of information here that not just anyone can give you. Come on, Zoom. Zoom, wake up. There we go. When Pixar does storyboards, if this is panel 7, and this is panel 8, and this is panel 9, everyone listening? Then let me go backwards here. So yeah, this is, you have to be careful here. Is this a 4?
Oh, I think I skipped shot 2. I think I actually wrote 3 instead of 2, and then I just kept going. Yeah,
All right,
no, that's supposed to be
just
shot.
let me say this. Let's say that this is scene 2, and this is shot 4.
Mhm.
This is the first panel for shot 4, right? This
Okay.
is the first panel for shot 4. If, remember this was the slug area down here? Everyone paying? So he's got this broken down here so that, especially in this area right here, we're gonna pay nice attention to this. When Pixar does this, this is 4 frames. And then there would probably be 3 or 4 more panels out here, and his hand was gonna go downwards into a new position and then back upwards again for panels 8, 9, 10, and 11, because all of their boards are on 4s. They do their storyboard panels on 4s like this. So none of the animators can ever get in trouble. If there is a sequence where it's really slow, they can make a provision to say that this is being held for 8 frames, or this is being held for 12 frames or 16 frames, if the action is happening really slow. But this right here, this would all be on 4s. At Pixar, they do such detailed boards that their slugs aren't even slugs anymore. They don't let their animators get into any trouble whatsoever. Everything's on 4s. And just remember that later in life when you can't remember where you heard that from. Timmy, just keep going. Draw bigger, please, or scale this up, because
Okay.
they look okay, but I don't want thumbnails. These are production boards.
I don't know. The canvas was pretty big. I guess it looks kind of small in scale when it's uploaded.
Well,
but-
then just break it
okay.
apart and put it into a larger PDF, multiple page PDF,
Okay.
so that all we have to do is go page, 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 and 4 panels per page is good. I do like all this white space around here. That's
Mhm.
making me happy. And I know you woke up yesterday morning and go, how am I going to make Billy happy? That was your primary objective, wasn't it?
A little bit, maybe.
Oh, maybe
You
a
know-
little bit. Oh, by the way, I did say that word, so I'm going to do this right now. When my first son started to go to high school, he started to do theater, and he got his first role, which was like in As You Like It. And then he became the lead. He was Romeo in Romeo and Juliet. And then the son of my twins, he was in The Glass Menagerie. He was Tom. He was the lead. And then my daughter was the lead in another, and she was at Lowell High School as well. So they're all actors. I wonder where they get that from. And then my daughter's going to become a teacher, so this acting card is going to help her a lot. Any acting coach worth their weight in nickels is always going to talk about objective. When you go out onto the stage as an actor, what is your objective? What is it that your character is doing? They're trying to get a reaction out of character B. They're going to say something to character B. They want to piss off character B. What is your objective? And as a story artist, you are acting with a pencil. So just always remember that. You are acting with a pencil. What is your objective? As character A is talking to character B, they're trying to get a rise out of him or whatever it is. And when you go out onto the stage for real as an actor, what is your objective? To get the audience to laugh, to get the audience to cry, to get the audience to think about something, to be funny, to be serious, to be provocative. And you're doing the same thing in animation, but just with a pencil. Got it? Thank you, Timmy.
Thank you.
Finish this up, please.
Yes, I will.
All right, Sierra.
Ew.
So finish your slug, please. Right, give me your scenes and shots and the duration for each board panel. You don't need to go into full detail like this, but that's okay as long as it's quick for you. If you ran out of time and you were just going to do something a little more sketchy, that would be fine. Are you drawing this in Photoshop?
Yeah.
Is it going fast for you?
I don't know.
Are you going to run out of time?
It's speeding up.
All right, let's take a look at your
I
sequencing.
got halfway done this week, so I think
All
I'm
right, just
fine.
remember, I like to see shot numbers and slugs on here.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily need to see the scene unless you really want it. All right, so these two characters enter the room here, and your doctor, who is just on the computer, clicks a little device with his hand, and it's like an ejector seat. It's like a rocket-powered desk chair.
Those are bees coming out of the hive. They're surrounding him and lifting him up, type thing.
Oh, I see. But it looks like he's flying upwards.
Yeah, they're picking him up.
They are picking him up.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's some suggestions for you. Oops, that's not what I wanted. What is that? That's weird. All right, hold on 1 second. Yeah, that's in Canvas. I don't want to be in Canvas. I want to be in Zoom. All right, so here's a couple of suggestions for you. So once again, I'd like to see shot _4, whatever that is. Give me your duration. So this would be 3¼ seconds, whatever that is. For when this is happening here, we don't know these are bees. The audience has no idea that these are bees. So get in here, and this is not the best place, maybe right here. Give me a bee.
Okay.
And just draw it. And then maybe another one over here, like, You know, it goes from all the way out the screen, it comes over here. So, and there's another bee here. And then that way we know it's bees. Here, just give me a bee. Can you see this? Just give me a bee and just draw the indication there. You know, maybe a smaller one over here. Because it looks like he's launching himself up in a rocket-powered desk chair.
Yeah.
And same thing here. Just give me some bees. All right, so it looks like they have this little device here. What is this, a bug? What is this, a bug? Bug zapper?
Yeah, bug zapper.
So they don't get to use it?
Not yet.
So the bees attack him, the little seahorse guy.
Yeah.
And from this position in 11, he goes backwards. And then in panel 13, he goes forwards again. So does that mean the bees are dragging him?
Oh, yeah.
They grabbed him and dragged him. All right, so what you may want is an insert shot. What you may want is a shot like right here, where you pull back a little bit. And your horse guy is here. And this little seahorse guy, he levitates, right?
He has a wheel on the bomb, but he also has a
He has
jetpack
like a
because
wheel?
why not? Yeah.
All right,
Sort
so
of.
so the bees are going around him, and he takes an anticipation, and then in the next panel, the bees pull him forward. So there's your anticipation, right? Because he was like struggling to try to get away. And then here, the bees are enveloping him and they're pulling him forward. If you have enough room in this panel here, you could even draw position A and position B, where the bees are dragging him further off the screen. Because that would make sense. But again, just draw some bees, so we know that they're bees. Does that make sense to you? All right, so in this sequence then, what's going on here? Is there a hole in the floor that the bees are dragging him into? Or no, this is...
It's a shot from above the laboratory, and he's being pulled up out through the ceiling and into the street.
So he's coming
thing.
up? Oh, I
Yeah.
see. So this is the street. I think you need a couple more panels here to describe this action, which could help. This right here could help you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this sequencing can help you. But then when you get to this, this is going to be scene 2. You need an establishing shot for scene 2. You need to have nothing here except the street and the cars and a street light and something first, and then go to 14B and show the groundbreaking, and then 14C, something comes up a little bit, and then this is 14D, right? And then this becomes 14E. So, and what is this? This is the bees just making a giant bee?
Oh, yeah.
So these
Or a
are
giant
all,
half a bee.
These are giant, little bees making a giant half a bee. And I forgot what your model sheet looks like. So he's a half a bee this way, right? So he would look like this. He would only have one wing and 2 feet over here. And then we would not see this eye, right? We would see the away eye and his little nose and one antenna. And then there would be like a little brain in here, right?
No. That's the back end of the bee.
So So which half of the B is it? Is it a lateral or is it sagittal?
The top half's cut off.
The top half is cut off.
Yeah.
So that's why there's no wings.
Yeah.
So then there would be just maybe a half an eye or something and a little snout, and there wouldn't be any wings. And then
It
so
doesn't have a
little
head.
feet. He doesn't have a head?
No.
Well, if you cut him in half this way, he would still have a half a head down here. Yes, no, maybe.
I don't know.
Because then you would need to like show like the guts. Yeah, I'm not, so this isn't reading like a half a B yet.
Okay.
It kind of looks just a B, like a B without the wings.
Yeah.
So yeah, consider the things I just said about coming up through the street though. All right, so the horse went over and he's discovering the evil plot. And you're still working. So make sure you're doing this quickly. And again, if this is a half a B that's comprised of just a lot of other Bs, then always just make sure that you have that little haze, that some of the Bs are still flying around a little bit.
Yeah.
And my overall suggestion would be is that, to me, it looks like you've got this action happening here. You've got 2 panels showing an action, but it may be in your best interest to take this background, draw it, copy it as many times as you need, but show multiple poses per panel. So this is an action, it's going forward, it's going down, he's going forward, it's going up, just to get the actions to read more clearly. Okay. Christo. All right, I think we saw that character last week, but you might have tightened her up a little bit.
Yeah, I gave her legs.
Yeah, and it looks like you have a better symmetry with her.
Yep.
That's your other character. All right, so you don't have any thumbs or board panels yet?
That's just the title. The other panels you've already saw before. They haven't changed.
All right, well, I can't comment on stuff that I'm not seeing, so.
I mean,
those are better, but I was hoping to see board so I can help you with your staging, your composition, your drawings, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Christo. All right, Evelyn. All right, these are great. Title card.
Yeah, I forgot it.
Oh, you hurt my feeling.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
I've only got one feeling and you managed to devastate it. You can have that. I borrowed that one. Brooke, you can have that if you want. Okay. A couple of things for you, please.
Yeah.
Title card. Shot numbers. Please. And then get your slug. At least think about it. 4 seconds. This is 1 second. Cut, right? Snaps open the window. So you might want one pose here where the character is just in the middle of the screen, facing away from us. Her hands are just touching the curtains. You know, the curtains are still in the middle, right? And then bam. So this shows sequence a lot better because you could have this on for 2 seconds, right? Or 48 frames. And then this is on for 8. This is 1/3 of a second. Bam. You know, that's open. And then all of a sudden, you know, then this works. I think you might need another panel here just to show his follow through on this action.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's already turned around and gesturing off the screen. Again, you need your shots and your slugs. And if you want to talk about any screen direction here, you should. You might need an extra panel here showing this is pose 1, this is pose 2, that kind of thing, like you've done here. You know, this is great. Showing a progression of acting right here. So her objective is that she's going to tell him that he's got to go do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, so his pose here, and if you want to just write it out in terms of like surprise, and then a reaction, and then he's mad, right? Because he doesn't want to do it. So that's this pose. So I think that you might have missed the surprise, but that's here, so that's okay. So you might want to get the reaction here. You know, his eyes are just a little bigger, like what, right? And then resolve. What is his resolve? Now I just discovered something. When I hit the middle mouse on my Wacom pen, it kills my tool. So then you need to resolve.
Okay.
So I'm just suggesting insert panels. All right, and hopefully this isn't taking you too long. These look good, they're very nice, right?
Yeah, I'm also cutting down this story. So.
What's that?
Oh, because my original story is very long, so I'm also cutting it down.
Yeah, just do part of it. But when you do productions, see if you can give me a PDF that has multiple pages in it, right? So just generate a multiple page PDF and just give me 4 drawings per page. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the reason for that is that they're bigger. So now I can see this is just 1, 2, 3, 4, this would be page 5. And they're bigger because I already zoomed in as far as I can here and they're still a little small. So make your presentation just a little bigger.
Okay.
Got it?
Yep.
All right, remember your title card. And don't be afraid to put direction arrows in your panels if you need to.
Okay, yeah.
All right, those look good. Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you.
All right, did anyone upload as we were going along here? Anna, that would be you. Anna, are you still here?
Yeah.
Okay. So just a couple of things here. Remember that your panels have to be 16 by 9. And for our class here, that is 4 by 2 1/4. So these are looking small. This is actually a 9 by 12 by 9 inch drawing tablet. So these are technically thumbs. And this looks like a map. Is this a map?
No, I was trying to make it like a bird's eye view.
Like the what?
A bird's eye view.
Oh, this is a BEV. So this is your establishing shot.
Yeah.
You know, I particularly in my, once again, you're using the wrong aspect ratio. So stay with 16 by 9. If you wanted to use a BEV, and this is like a neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Then just go ahead and invest in a real bird's eye view. So put your horizon about here, put your vanishing point. Actually, let me think about this for a second. You can put your vanishing point up here. So this is your horizon, and then just draw your horizon like that, or your perspective like this. And then instead of drawing this as just little boxes, actually go in and draw the little houses, the little buildings, draw the little street, you know, and then give yourself a variation of size in the buildings. Give yourself different sizes and shapes. You know, this building is really tall. You know, there's some trees in there. It looks better than this. Remember, we are looking for a map so that we can establish our line of action. But when you're doing an establishing shot, I think it's going to be much preferable to spend time on a drawing like this, where you've got lots of interesting things happening. You've got art and drawing. You're establishing some sort of community, some sort of cityscape, right? And then you can spend time on this. You can spend 10 to 12 seconds on this. You can also do a camera move. So on top of that, you can start out wide, and you want to go to this house, right?
Yeah.
This house here. So where's that house? That house is right here. So you can do a camera move. The camera move from position A to position B. And you could just do it like that. And then when you get to that, this right here, then you can cut to this.
Okay.
All right, so once again, you're using the wrong aspect ratio. So don't even, and these still look like thumbs. So remember, on this size of paper, you really should be only drawing 4 panels for production boards. And if and this is a pan, then draw the pan bigger so that you start from position A and you go to position B.
Okay.
Like this one right here. So put your map on the first page and try to give me a multi-page PDF. All right, just go into Photoshop and make yourself a multi-page PDF. So all I have to do is scroll here and not click, click, click. So it looks like you have your panel numbers correctly, but you need your shots and you need the slug. And remember, if you're composing these shots, you have focal points. You're using cinematic thirds. So always try to keep in mind that where is this character? You don't have to have your character in the center of the stage for every single shot. All right, so is this 3 characters coming in here?
No, that was just her looking to both sides.
Oh, so this is like position A, position B. So she's looking around.
Yeah.
So I think that you have to draw bigger in order to show that this is not three people coming into a room. You need to set the composition. There's a doorway. And then have her come in and draw one drawing that's like in the middle. So you draw her coming in and just draw it a little more clearly so that we can see that this is her. She's got her little ponytail up here, right? And she's got her arms in sort of a relaxed position. And then instead of drawing everything all over again, you can just draw one head over here, you know, that she's looked to the left, and draw another head over here that she's looked to the right, or that, you know, she's looked behind her or something, right? To draw a little arrow indicating like that. And then you can write position A, position B, position C. You can do that in this instead of doing this. The other way to do this is to just take this digitally, copy the background, copy everything out, and do panel, whatever this would be. This would be panel 4, and then panel 5. This would be panel 5, and then the other one would be panel 6. And then you can go back to this shot in panel 7. So you can do this, but don't make it look like there's 3 people entering a room here. That's not going to help you in terms of staging or storytelling.
Okay.
And remember, you're drawing too small. Stay at 4 by 2 1/4, and just like we were talking about weeks and weeks ago, give yourself a little piece of cardboard that has that correct aspect ratio cut out of it, so that all you need to do is trace it. All you need to do is trace it and go. If you know you're doing a pan or a zoom or anything like that, then you can even slide it over and do it the bigger. All right, you got that?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Yola. Or I'm sorry, Anna.
Yes, but do I say anything to you or make you feel bad? No, but I'm telling you, it's hard for me when I'm going in places.
All right, did I miss anybody?
That's hard for me, just so you know.
Does anyone have drawings that are not digital and they want to share them with their camera?
I'm telling you that it's while I'm wearing a mask.
Is that anybody? Anybody? Chat? Andrew, yes, we're supposed to make our thumbnails into full boards. This is project 3. These are full boards, project 4 and project 5, which remember, I gave you a
honey,
heads
can you
up
hear me?
last week that you
Hi,
should
honey,
be
are
thinking
you
of what you want
okay?
those stories to be right now. You should be thinking of like the general concept, the synopsis.
I didn't hear most of it. All I heard was your mom arguing with you about wearing a mask.
Christo?
Yeah. Oh, babe, are you okay?
Christo?
Hey, sweetie.
Christo? Thank you, Christo. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat here. Thank you, everybody. 4 by 2 1/4. Okay. So the way that I think this would, the best way this is going to work is that I would like to see multi-page PDFs for next week. I mean, if you have to, you can just put a series of JPEGs up in there, but it's really simple to just stitch them together in a multi-page PDF that all we have to do is scroll. That's ideal. Right? I'm not going to lose any points or mark you down if it's just JPEGs, but it's just easier and it's faster. It's easier and faster. All right, so at this point, I've helped you for a couple weeks there. I think you're all on the right track. What I would like to request from you is that you get ready to do a pitch, and you are going to present your boards for next week, right? It's just like the way that you're pitching your story idea. And I'll prompt you when we get into next week about not spending too long on backstory or getting into some diatribe about two characters talking too much, going on back and forth, which was part of my preparation for today in showing you a series of films that were completely pantomime. Just a few little, what? Even in the snack movie, I think that the old lady's little grunts were just a little overdone. And I think what happens is that the production team gets into the mode of script, thumbnails, storyboards, 3D models. They start putting the staging together. They start putting the blocking together. By the way, blocking comes from the stage. It comes from theater. Where is the character on the stage? Where are they going to? Where are they going from? It's all about staging. And then they start recording dialogue. It was very common for Chuck Jones to be doing storyboards, and the storyboards get approved by Leon Schlesinger or whoever. And then at that point, the music is being done, and Mel Blanc is doing the voices a year before the cartoon is even being made, and the voices are locked in. But with that little snack movie, it seemed like the little I think that they were a little too bright. They were just a little too hot. They were too loud. I think that they could have made it a completely more subtle. And think about watching that kind of movie, the little snack movie, with no sound at all. It ends up becoming a better movie. If you buying into my theory right there. All right, let me see. Let me just check my notes. It's funny that we started out today talking about all three of the 24-hour challenge teams having the same theme. And I should have talked about this. This was story themes. And it's something that I just pulled off of, believe it or not, I think that it was, I think I pulled this off like a Blockbuster .com website or something, and how they had done the different groupings of their VHS and DVDs when they still had rental houses. And then I added a bunch of stuff to it. It's just the idea of the theme of coming of life or coming of age kind of theme. Anyway, I wasn't ready to talk about that. I had announcements that I forgot. I'll do my announcements at the very end. I had done a little thing. I was on Pinterest, and once again, I really don't care if I'm saying it wrong. But I was on Pinterest, and I was looking at one of my boards. I don't think I saved it. So let me just click on the home for Pinterest. Oh, no, let me just do this. And something keyed in on Wolf Walkers, because it's coming out very soon. I think Wolf Walkers is coming out on 13th of November. And I had bounced over to my Instagram, and I followed Tom Moore on Instagram. And there was something about the release for Wolf Walkers being, now you're looking into my own personal thing here. being on G Kids, on the G Kids channel, which is now part of Disney, I believe. Oh, I'm sorry, it's part of Apple TV. Look, that's me taking a photograph at the Cow Palace. Let me see if I can find it. And it said that it was going to be released in theaters, which is weird. On sometime before November 13th, and then it'll be available on G Kids. And you can all clue me in. Is G Kids free? Is gkids.com free? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. So do you all remember watching Jailbreak? The black and white stop motion film we started watching today? This is a concept art for that film. So instead of black and white, there's little hot windows there. Yeah, I'm not seeing Wolfwalkers. Where did Wolfwalkers go? I'm not seeing Wolfwalkers. But I know I didn't imagine it. All right. Oh, and then the other thing was Over the Moon is still October 23rd. So that is next Friday. Over the Moon, that's Glenn Keane's second movie, Tangled, and now Over the Moon, done at Pearl Studios. And Pearl is in China, and they have a satellite studio in Portland or Seattle or something like that. All right, and so those dates are the same. And there was no set release date for Pinocchio, but I know people working up at Shadow Machine, and they're in production, they're making it happen. It's going to happen. Hopefully it'll be the most awesome movie you've ever seen. For some reason, when I was looking on Internet Movie Database today, I didn't see Geppetto. It was the whole purpose why I threw Pinocchio at all of you for your second project, was like that interaction between Pinocchio and Geppetto is like, it's crazy, stupid, it's didactic. It's like, why would anyone let their kid get that much out of hand? Pinocchio is a real asshole. I mean, he's just honed from this piece of pine. Pinocchio, pine, Occhio. And then he just runs away. And Geppetto spends a year in jail because all the people in the village are like, well, you're not a very good dad. We're putting you in jail. And Pinocchio leaves him there. Well, when I was looking on Internet Movie Database, I, at one point many years ago, had heard that Tom Waits, like my favorite musician of all time, was going to be doing the voice for Geppetto. And now Geppetto's not even part of it. When I looked at it, I didn't see Geppetto at all. There's like, maybe the name is just different. Let me take a look. They have to learn how to spell better. Anyway, all right, so that's what I have for you tonight, for this evening. Full boards next week. And remember that a few of you still need to upload stuff for a couple of your other projects. I extended the due dates on those. And I graded everything else for the part one of this that you did last week, this evening, this afternoon. And tonight is only worth 1 point. But next week it's worth 300. Next week's, this final project here is worth 300. And you've already got 100 points already from it. So it's total of 400 points. Your project 4 will be 400 points as well. And again, they're only a short. These are just shorts, just a 1.5 minute story. And your final will be 800 points. And that's due on December 18th. Project 4 will be due on November 18th. Got it? All right, this is recorded. I'll have this up on YouTube in an hour. This is a full 3-hour lecture, so